It's been too long since we've talked to the great man. Joe Hockey, the former ambassador for Australia to the United States, the former treasurer and our dear friend, joins us now from Washington, D.C. Great man, how... Look at that tan. That's a man who's had a little vacay. Where did you go?
Well, I'm a little embarrassed. I drove up to Hyannisport, where, you know, the Kennedy compound, near the Kennedy compound, not there. And
they've been a little sad in the past week.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And the Hamptons, and then headed down to Florida and got 3 days of golf coaching from Greg Norman, which improved my game, by the way.
I saw that you were posting, I think, on Insta that you won some money off someone as a result of such coaching, and I've seen you play around, and you were kind enough to invite me along to have a look, and you were doing pretty well. The fact that he could improve the technique, if there's one man that could do it, it is, of course, the great man, the Shark.
And he is the only man that can improve my golf technique, by the way. So, and I won $38, so I owe him 20% caddy fee.
Very good. Now,
for the pleasure, so I'm pleased.
I've danced around this a couple of times over the past couple of days, but I can't think of a greater example of fake news than this story that appears in The Atlantic. Why do I call it fake news? Not because it's negative about Donald Trump, but because 4 unnamed sources claim that he said the worst possible things about soldiers and the military. A bloke who worked for him at the time, was with him when supposedly these comments were made. John Bolton came out and said it's not true. Unsurprisingly, Donald Trump's fired up. Him pushing back.
Didn't hear either of those comments or anything even resembling them. I was there at the point in time that morning when it was decided that he would not go to Unmarn Cemetery. He decided not to do it because of John Kelly's recommendation. It was entirely a weather-related decision, and I thought the proper thing to do.
So, Joe, that's the thing, right? If, like, this story, if it was actually to get out of first gear, if you wanted to get somebody's name on the record saying, you know what, this Trump, he definitely said it, it'd be John Bolton, right? But John Bolton, they didn't call him because either they knew or they didn't want to risk it that he knew. What do you think?
I'm totally with you. I was really upset about this. And look, you know, I'm not going to be an apologist at all for Donald Trump.
No, I get it.
But in this instance, it was a real setup. And it is a new political tactic. What happens is, and both sides are doing it in this campaign, and they've probably done it before, but not quite like this, where they look at a pattern of behaviour by the individual, in this case Donald Trump, and he regularly uses the word loser or something along those lines. So what they'll do is get a friendly publication to write effectively an unsourced article alleging that he used it about the people that are in his base. And then they'll jump on top of it with all the other publications plus media commentary plus political commentary. So Joe Biden bought into this. Now, this is a new tactic to deal with the change in the media landscape, and it's a very effective tool. Has it done damage to Donald Trump? It might have done damage to Donald Trump, but what they're trying to do is to break away some of his core support from his base and shift it over to Biden. And in doing so, they're going directly for the military support, where he has an overwhelming majority of voters.
You also get the sense too that, you know, that they are trying to get back to what they think will particularly fire up suburban voters, which is this bloke, fair dinkum. It's just a blitzkrieg of crazy. So you show examples of it, you ramp these up where basically it comes out on a Friday, swirls into the weekend, which means it starts to poison the next week. Because, very interestingly, and I'm sure completely accidentally, was that this story came out on the same day that another 1.5 million jobs were created. 10 million people have gone back to work since the start of the pandemic. Now, logically, that would be the headline for that weekend. So that's why you drop this stuff, to change the subject.
Well, and look, Donald Trump's very good at this, Paul. In politics, we used to call them weapons of mass distraction, trying to find a way to change the topic from whatever is the narrative of the day that is hurting you. You'd come out with some announcement. In my case, I think I usually announce something on tax when I was treasurer in order to distract from the daily news cycle. So it's a well-worn tactic. But in this case, it is clearly not right. That's the fundamental point. And as you point out, John Bolton, who has been an enormous critic, an outspoken critic of Donald Trump, has now come out and said, look, the story just isn't true. And that is a very powerful endorsement for Donald Trump. I'm sure Bolton gritted his teeth to do it, but he needs publicity for the sale of his book.
Yeah,
so that's
correct.
why he would have come out and done that. So, but, you know, I think this is going to be a really ugly campaign. Of course, today is Labor Day here in the United States, the holiday Monday, and traditionally the campaign really kicks in the day after Labor Day. And as you're going to see over the next few weeks, it really ramps up, particularly with these tactics.